Sarah Maldor was a very wonderful person. She was very generous, and my sister and then I had a very non-common life. Of course, because that she was an artist, and my father also was an important political intellectual. But her way of living was, as you can discover in her movies. I mean, she was very poetic, and so we were raised in something really not conformal, you know. And for example, she thought that we had to read everything we wanted. We had a huge library at home, and we could choose any book, and there was no taboo, nothing forbidden. And if we did not understand, she said, but you will understand later on. And we had to read poetry always, and we had to go to museum every Sunday with her, or maybe just for one painter or one painting. You know, we didn't have to visit all the Louvre Museum, for example. But she said, I would like you to see this painting in particular, and we were discussing about that. And one of her painter's favorites was Van Gogh. And I remember I said, there is one Van Gogh, find it. So we were running in the museum to look for the Van Gogh that Sarah was looking for. So it was something like that, but very sweet in her way of raising us. But at the same time, the life was very difficult. It was difficult for her to make the movies she wanted, to be able to find producers, to find resources. That was really hard. But she never complained, and we were keeping straight ahead. And if she could not make a movie, she was working to another one, and she never stopped working. So that's also something that she transmits to us, is not to be afraid of anyone, of anything, and to be sure of our value as person, and to be able to fight and climb all the mountain. There is very few numbers of filmmakers who can just do a film with and another. But the reality of the artistic life is very difficult. And in cinema, you write a screenplay that could take at least 2 years of work alone, and then you have to find financing, and they say yes or no, and sometimes, most of the time they said, what have you done before? The problem is that Sarah's movies were not all released or on TV or on screen, on theater. So it has been difficult more and more to say that I have made a film 20 years ago. So the next producer said, well, maybe something happened. And also she had a reputation to be a very strong woman. She was able to say no to anyone if she was not agree. She never made any compromise in anything. So that also, make the things much more difficult for her. And the reality, being a woman and a black woman in Europe in the 70s, when she started working, that was not easy. Nobody had helped her, never. All she has made was alone, and thanks to her energy, her belief. And now, of course, she died 2 years ago. My sister and I, we are very happy of what is happening, like here, the invitation to Indie Lisboa, the work done by Cinemateca. But this is very surprising. 5 years ago, nobody was invited her. The last movies, I produced them because nobody wanted to work with Sarah. And now we have retrospective, tribute, exposition. Okay, this is nice, but we are not, we are thankful for all this invitation, But we just keep in mind that it could have been better to do it with her. But I have been working with Sarah since 20 years, more or less, really close to her. And then we have started together finding some copies because they were lost. And the first one who has been lost was the movie she's made in 1970 in Algeria, Gone for Banta, but it has been sequestrated. So we hope it's still in Algeria. So, Sarah was asking everywhere, each time she met an Algerian, to try to find this copy. So this is one point. And then I have been trying to find other copies because she had lost them and she did not care a lot about the material. So we start together like that. And I think it was for the Reina Sofia Museum who wanted to make a tribute to her in Madrid. And so we went together to Madrid, but I have started working with Chema Gonzalez a year before, 2 years before the tribute, and I start working and looking for the rights and then for the physical material. And that was really difficult. Some of them were lost or was in bad condition, so we were starting to make some restoration and things like that. So the process is coming from many years. And when we have been working with Joanna Sanson, she said that she wanted to present all the movies. And I said, okay, some of them that won't be possible because I know they're lost, or there is one she has made in Panama in 1974. I only have an article published in a French magazine, Africazie, where the journalist talks about the movie. So I know the movie exists, but I haven't seen any image. I have only 3 photographs of the shooting. That's the only thing I have. So I should go to Panama to find it. But after COVID, maybe I will have the opportunity. So we have been working and looking, and what is very interesting here, what the work done by Cinemateca is they have chosen also all the short movies she has made for French TV, which are for the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which are very small films, but very interesting to see, what she was in what she was interested, and also it gives an idea of her way of taking a subject could be not very funny, but how she can put her way of thinking, of living, adding poetry or filming, or so that is very interesting. That's why it's very important, this retrospective, and I invite all people to see the majority of them. But that's the way she was. She was someone very open, always happy to travel, always with a suitcase, ready to jump in any plane. So, if someone said, okay, I have read this book, okay, she was reading it, this is her way of living, and this curiosity also makes you aware of what's happening. And when she was invited in a country she didn't know, she was, doing her job, presenting her movies, but she said, which museum is open? I would like to go. And she was visiting museums, churches, walking in the streets. And that's also, it's a way of nurture someone and her imagination. She has been working wherever she was, and so she has been living most of her life in France. So she has made a lot of movies in France, but when she was once invited in Mexico she decided to make a movie right away there. So that's why she has a Mexican movie. She has made another one in Colombia because I was living there and I introduced her to a painter and she fell in love with her painting. So she made a movie in Colombia, another one in Panama, in Congo, in Algeria. So she was taking every opportunity and she had no frontier. And those no frontier in the place where she was living, no frontier in the content, you know, the thematic of her movies, and no frontier in the format. Also, you have short, medium short, long feature fiction, documentaries. You know, she was a very free woman. But the thing is, the politics is life. I mean, so there is nothing more to say. It's that she and what I can add is that when she started working in cinema, she said, maybe I can make a Western or a musical because she loved the musical. But she said, you know, nobody is talking about war in Angola, so I'm not waiting for someone to make the movie. I will do it. This is also not my duty, but my responsibility to share Black history and to make the others known about other poets. That's why she made movies about Césaire, Damas, Senghor, Depestre, and also all these, you know, movies about the revolution, the movement of for independence in Africa. She has chooses her name in 1956, and she was working and creating the first black company called Les Griots, and she decided to change her name and to take Maldoror. And this is very important because it tells also a lot about her way of being, because it's important to know that she was a black woman, an Afro-descendant, a descendant of slavery. And for a descendant of slavery to choose your own name, this is something very political. That's what she did, and she chose a name from a surrealist poet, Lautréamont. And also this is important. And so while she started to have a public life as a director of a theater company, she said, okay, now I am going to be Sarah Maldoror, and you will know me under this name, the name I have chosen for me. But no, you can enter wherever you want. The idea is to see the global. I don't know. There is fiction, short, poetry, maybe one of each. You know, Sambizanga, of course. Not only because it's a major movie, but also it has been restored. It's a beautiful copy. Made by Cinemateca di Bologna and the Film Foundation. And it gives a lot the idea of being a woman and the politics also. I will recommend in poetry Léon Gontran Damas, because his poetry was absolutely wonderful, and his the movement of Negritude has been created by three poets, Césaire, Senghor, and Nabas. But as Césaire and Senghor were also politicians, I think that's why Damas is less well known as the two others. But Damas had another dimension. Maybe it's the jazz music in his poetry who makes him so different. And even Césaire and Senghor said, we were the three of us, but Damas was living the negritude. And this is very interesting to listen to them, because this is Senghor and César said that maybe Damas was the best poet between the three. And I will recommend the movie about Miro and also about Aragon. Even though she said that she had no special ability with music, she was not playing any instrument, but Enda and I had to learn instruments, so it was we not also had the obligation to go to museum, we had also the obligation to listen to learn music. And yes, that was very important, and she was listening a lot jazz music. She was close to Archie Shepp and to other musicians. And for me, the emotion given by jazz, besides the music, it's also the history of jazz and the meaning of liberty that you have with this music in special. And this is very corresponding. This is a duet between jazz and Sarah as a human being. That's why she used a lot jazz music, and she paid a lot of attention of music. And while she was preparing a movie, she started with a note of intention, and always you have a poem. Then the idea why she wanted to make the portrait of this personality, why she wanted that, and also you have a music intention and artistic reference. For example, for a movie she has made on an artist called Alain Sérafine. You have it here. It's called La Tribu du Bois de Lait. I have read the note of intention. She said, but what I want to do, when I'm thinking of making this movie, it will start from a photograph by Sebastián Salgado. That was how she was trying to, even for the producer who is going to read the project, then he can have the idea of a photograph and he had the images, then you get into this mood, and then you keep reading the project, and you know where she wants to bring you. No, I say thank you. Obrigada.